Good morning, friends. It's Miss Tracy here. Whoa. And I'm here. It's a Sunday morning, and I'm here with your Bible story for today. And this comes from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and we know that all of the stories in the Bible are true. That means that they really, really happened. Well, today is a great, great story. It's a Bible truth. And I'm going to share it with you right now. So, this story is called God Makes a Way. And so, it comes from the book of the Bible called Exodus. Okay, so it's Exodus 14 through 15. Well, this story in the Bible, it's amazing. And it's a miracle, really. It is. So, it is just so amazing. Think about water for a minute. Think about a big amount of water, like in a lake, if you've ever seen a lake. If you've ever been close to a lake, or how about a river? So the water's flowing by. Have you ever been swimming? Maybe in a big pool. So think about that water. And even think about just the water maybe in your bathtub. Think about that amount of water. Do you think that you could part the water? Could you make the water spread apart and have dry land to cross, or a dry part of your tub? Can you go and blow it hard enough where it'll go apart like that and completely apart and dry? I don't think you can. Actually, I know you can't. Well, this is a story about God and how God did that for his people. So, as we learned earlier this week, God's people were being treated really unfairly by this Pharaoh, okay? And he was doing horrible things to them, and God kept getting his attention, and he brought all of these different plagues. That's what they were called, plagues. It was like bad stuff to get Pharaoh to let his people go. So he brought all these frogs. I just can't imagine having tons and tons of frogs. I like frogs, but I don't like frogs that much. I wouldn't want frogs in my bed, and I wouldn't want frogs on my head. I would not want them in my shoes, and I wouldn't want them in my car. Well, these frogs were everywhere. And so Pharaoh would say, okay, I'll let your people go, and then he would change his mind. Oh, have you ever changed your mind? Have you ever said that you would do something and then went, no, I don't think so? Well, that's what Pharaoh kept doing. He kept changing his mind, and it was not very fair. Not fair at all. Well, finally, after all of these plagues, we learn that he had the worst plague of all, where God said, I'm going to get rid of all of the firstborn sons. So that meant that Pharaoh lost his son. And so he was super sad, and he's like, fine, you people can go. So there they go. So Moses and the Israelites, Moses leads them, and they're all going away. And so that's where our story is. Here they're going away and going and traveling, and God is protecting them. So here we see a picture. Can you see the picture? Here's a picture of a chariot. This is a chariot and horses. So, and then there's a man here, and he's got a sword, or he's got a bow and arrow is what he's got. Ooh, man, what is going on there? Well, the story tells us that chariots, it's kind of back in those days, a long time ago, they didn't have cars. So what they had is they had like this cart, and the horse pulled the cart, and the people rode in it. Well, Pharaoh, he did not keep his word, and he told them, after the people were already gone and they were pretty far, he's like, you know what? I'm coming after them, and I want my people back. Y'all are going to be my slaves and do whatever I tell you to do. You're going to take out my trash, and you're going to clean my dishes. And that's what he wanted them to do, to be his slaves. He wanted them to take care of him. You're going to cook my food. You're going to do my grocery shopping. You're going to cut my grass. So he didn't want to do anything. He wanted these people to do that. Well, this was God's people, and God said, no, that's not right. So he was protecting them. So they're traveling far and far and far. We're getting to the part with the water. So they go so far, and now they're up against this big thing of water, okay? Lots and lots of water. And there's nowhere for them to go. So they're looking around like, I don't see a boat. There's not a bridge. No helicopter. How are we going to get across? How are we going to get across this? They couldn't swim across it because it was way too deep and too far to swim across, and the water was too rough. They could not swim that far. So what were they going to do? They had all their people, and they had, animals, and they had babies. So they just couldn't, trudge across that water. They didn't even want to try. And then they hear in the distance. What is that sound? What do you think they heard? They heard horses coming. Oh my goodness. They were so scared. They couldn't go anywhere else. And here, Pharaoh's men were coming to get them. So behind them was Pharaoh's men. In front of them was the water. What were they going to do? They had nowhere to go. Nowhere. Oh, have you ever felt like that? Like, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Maybe you've played a game before, and you're like, maybe like checkers. Have you ever played checkers? And there's no move you can make without somebody jumping you, and then you're gone, you lost. Well, this was it. They were losing. There was nothing for them to do. No way to make it. But they were God's people. And so it says right here, it says, so they were panicking. That's the only thing they could do was panic. Here's a picture. Look at this. Here's all that water. And here they are. And they're like, we can't cross it. And here comes the chariots and the horses and all of the men. And it was a lot. And they were coming to get them. And so they said, we're going to die, they shrieked. Don't be afraid, Moses said. Moses said, don't be afraid. But there's nothing we can do, they screamed. Oh, so God will do it for you. That's what he said. He said, trust him. Trust him and watch. Trust him and watch. But there's no way out, they cried. There's no way out. Moses said, God will make a way. So when there's no way out, God will make a way. So what do you think happened in this story? It's amazing what happened in this story. I'm going to show you the picture. Well, right here, I hope you can see it. Or if you have this book, you can look at it there. Here it is. God parted the water. He pushed the water apart. He just made it go apart like this. So it was a big wall of water. And there was probably fishes and stuff jumping in the water. And Moses led his people across the water on dry ground. And here the water is up above them. And it's so deep, but they're not in the water. It's like a wall, and you're walking through it. It's so cool. And then, so here comes the chariots and all those people. They're coming to get them still. And they think, well, we can go through there. Well, as soon as God's people made it through, then God crashed the water back down on top of all of those other people. So he protected him. God protected his people, and he'll protect you too, okay? So when there seems like there is no way in your life, when you look around and think, there's nothing I can do, there's no way, God will make a way. That's what he tells us in the story, and that's what he promises us, and that's what he teaches us. And that's a promise you can hold on to always, your whole entire life. When you're faced with something scary, and when you think there's no way out, God will help you, and God will give you a way out. He will make a way, and it's perfect and beautiful. Well, I hope that you get to join me here at church today, where I'm going to share this story, and we're going to sing some praise music and praise to God, and we're going to thank him for all his wonderful things that he does for us. So I hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye.